Hi Debirians! Do you remember when you were younger and your parents said something similar to "Oh, what a messy room, there are clothes everywhere, on the floor, on the dresser, there's even a roller skater on the corner, somebody can get hurt, I want you to clean this up right now, I want you to pick it up, pick it up." Or maybe even now, your partner saying, "We have too many board games and we have no space on the room," or you place some order, or you have to get rid of some of them. Well, now is payback time. Place everyone to pick up objects all around the house thanks to Home Sweet Home or Not. Home Sweet Home or Not is a cooperative game designed by Paul Peterson and with art by Alex Santaló for 2 to 5 players that last around 30 minutes. In Home Sweet Home or Not, you will choose a scenario and you have to collaborate, moving your characters around the house and interacting with the different items, basically to achieve the winning conditions on the scenario. Let's take a look to what's included in the box and then we will show you how to play Home Sweet Home or Not. Inside the box you will find the rulebook with everything explained, and really important, you have the 5 scenarios, the 5 available scenarios here. Each scenario has the title of the scenario, the context of the scenario, what you will find, the setup, how to build a house and how to prepare the cards, also some special rules that you will find, and the objective and the winning and losing conditions. You have also 6 rooms. You have the dining room, the living room, the playroom, the garage, the kitchen, and the attic. Some hallways to connect different rooms here, the doors with the front one in white. You have also some player counters here, a die to randomize some events that may happen during the game, and a bunch of cards. You have item cards with the name of the item. Some of those items will have a number here. It shows the room where the item comes from. Okay, here for example, it comes from the room number 3. And you have the type of the item. There are 6 types: food, books, tools, junk, tech, and fabric. And some of those items may have an ability explained down here. Okay, let's see if we have some. Okay, no, well, you will have a small text down here that will explain the ability of the item. You have also event cards that may happen at the beginning of a player turn. And you have specific scenario cards with the name of the scenario on top of it. And as we said before, in the scenario setup, it will explain how to add those cards into the decks. So now that we know everything that is involved in the game, it's time to learn how to play Home Sweet Home or Not. So Home Sweet Home or Not is a driven scenario game, which means that first of all you have to choose the scenario, and as we explained before, the scenario will show you how to make the setup, how to build the house, which cards you have to add to the cards that are part of the basic game, and how you have to do it. Okay, some cards will be added in the event deck, some in the item, some all around the house. That's explained in the scenario. We don't want to spoil you, so we're going to focus in the basic rules, in the how to play, how the game sequence or your turn sequence is going to be. And then if the scenario has a sort of specific rules that will be used just in the scenario. So those rules prevail over the basic ones. So if there's a rule that in the scenario that goes against one of the basic actions that you may perform, the one that comments is the one that you will find in the scenario. By saying that, we're going to focus now in the game sequence and explain you the basic rules to learn how to play Home Sweet Home or Not. So as you can see here, we are simulating the house of the first scenario, but as we said before, we don't want to spoil you, so we're going to follow the basic game sequence, okay? A game of Home Sweet Home or Not will be played with player alternating turns until the winning or losing conditions have been accomplished, putting an end to the game. So, during your turn, because players will alternate turns forward and clockwise, during your turn you must follow those steps. First, you must turn over the top card, the top event card, and do as it says. Okay, that one says nothing happens, fantastic for us. But some of those cards will say that you have to drop an item or so. Just follow what the card says. That's the first step. So the second step that you may perform during your turn is to perform up to 3 actions. Okay, you may perform 3 different actions. Those actions, the basic ones, because remember we have actions specific for each scenario. So the basic actions are to move. You can spend 1 action to move your character to an adjacent space. If the character enters a space with items face down, you must turn them up. Okay, turn them over and place them face up. So 1 is to move. Okay, we can use another action to move that to the other room. Okay. The second action that we may perform during our turn is to interact with items. There are different interactions that we may perform with the items. One is to pick up an object or drop an object. Okay, to pick up an object, just take an object that is in your same room and take it and place it in your hand. That object cannot have an item on top of it. So let's imagine that those are like this. We can take the bike pump, but not the board game because it has the bike pump on top of it. If you want to take the other one, then you have to do something with the one in the top, and then if you have view to that one, you can take it. So, or as we said before, you can drop an object. Okay, let's imagine that we don't want the ball, so we drop the object. You can choose in which space you want to place it. All rooms has 2 spaces for items, so you can place it here or covering that one, that's up to you. So, as we say, pick up or drop. The second interaction that you may perform is to swap an item. Okay, it's just you can take an item and place yours instead. Easy. The third interaction that you may perform is to give an object to a player that shares the room with you, or take an object from that player. Okay, if that player shares the room with us, you can give the bike pump, the object that you have in your hand, to that player, or you can receive an object from that player. Obviously, if the player agrees with you. And finally, you can do multiple things at the same time. So by using just one action, you can interact, you can do all the interactions that we explained before, drop, pick up, swap, or give or take. But it will cost you just one action as long as you interact just once with each item. So, and with an example, it's easier. We can take the rubber ball, for example, leave the bike pump, so we swap those items, and we can give the soda to the other player. But if we want to give to that player the ball that we just picked, because we interacted once with the ball, that will be a second interaction, we have to use a second action to give it to that player, okay? Also, and that's important for the item things, usually the limit of items that you can have in your hand is 2. Okay? There are other cards that may allow you to have more items or so, but basically you can have usually 2 items in your hand. So if you're going to give an item to another player, if that player has more than 2 items, that player must drop immediately the card in the room where it is, where he or she is, okay? And that's the second step, okay? So we have the event card, we have interacted with items. Once we have finished our actions, if we used the 3 actions or not, we may give an item for free to a player that is in the same room as us, okay, as the third step of our turn. And finally, the fourth and last step is to refill the empty spaces of the rooms. Let's imagine that those cards are not here. So once we have finished, we place a new item here. If there are characters in the room, the card is placed face up. If there are not, imagine that we have a card here, then the card is placed face down. The hallways, they don't receive cards that way, okay? Just if a player drops a card in a hallway, then the hallway will have cards. If not, they don't feel it that way. And that's it. Basically, once you have finished all that, it will be the next player turn that will perform also the 4 steps, okay? Remember, turn over an event card and do as it says, interact with items, then you may give an item card to a player that shares the room with you, and finally fill the empty spaces on the rooms. And that's it. You will continue that way, alternating turns, until the winning conditions or the losing conditions have been accomplished. And that way you will end the game. One final thing that we didn't say before, because maybe it's obvious, but we preferred to say it, is that to the actions that we said of moving and interact with items, you have to add the actions that are involved in each scenario, the actions that the rulebook explains. So in the 3 actions that you may perform, it will be move, interact with items, and all the other actions that this scenario gives us new. And that's it. At the end, if you didn't have accomplished the winning conditions and you lose the game, don't worry, it's a small setback, just try it again. And if you have win the game, congratulations, and well, try the next scenario, let's see how it works. And that's Home Sweet Home or Not, a 3D game of pick up and delivery, where collaboration will be the key to succeed in this scenario. We hope you enjoyed the game, and remember, keep playing. Bye.